Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 2021 Virtual Smart Growth Summit presented by the Center for Planning Excellence, also known as CPEX. CPEX is Louisiana's only nonprofit planning organization. We work with communities at all scales, from neighborhood to parish, helping them develop a shared vision and a roadmap to achieve that vision. We've now worked in over 50 Louisiana communities and work with state agencies to develop policies and programs to support local community planning needs. Through all of our work, we champion the power of good planning to build livable, resilient, equitable communities. My name is Lanisha Jackson, and I'm a community planner at CPEX, and will be opening and closing this session, Fresh Takes for the Future. I'm so happy to be here today to hear from these young planning professionals during this lunchtime session on the last day of the summit. Before we begin, CPEX would like to acknowledge all of our members and sponsors who make this event possible, including our platinum sponsors, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Louisiana, the Power Coalition, and 89.3 WRKF, and our gold sponsors, American Planning Association Louisiana Chapter, Hancock Whitney, Louisiana Municipal Association, LAMATS, LSU Ag Center, Smart Growth America, and Stone Pigman Walter Whitman. Closed captioning is provided by AARP Louisiana. A few housekeeping items before we begin. This session has been pre-approved for continuing education credits for certified floodplain managers and certified planners. Realtors, architects, landscape architects, engineers, and lead professionals may self-report credit. To receive credit, please attend the whole session and respond to the polling questions at the end. Please visit summit.cpex.org for more information. You may turn on closed captioning using the button at the bottom of your screen. And finally, this session is being recorded and will be available on CPEX's YouTube channel and website. In our planning processes, CPEX works to ensure that voices from all generations are represented. From high school planning workshops to middle school design charrettes, we recognize the importance of elevating the next generation's voice as we work to plan an equitable, resilient, and climate-friendly future. In our recent work developing a campus master plan for Southern University and a community plan for Scotlandville in Baton Rouge, we met with Southern University students and students from 3 high schools who gave us valuable insights into how they would like their communities to look and function. Their input is so important as they would be the users and beneficiaries of the spaces we plan today. Engaging fresh voices is important in our planning, and it is important as we continue our planning education as well. So far at this year's Smart Growth Summit, we have heard from experts on a variety of topics related to planning, including climate change adaptation, people-oriented mobility, the growth of the renewable energy sector, creating distinctive places that celebrate our unique culture, and how all of these can come together to create healthy, resilient communities. We've heard from officials, thought leaders, and practitioners who have helped shape our understanding and continue to influence our work. Today, we'll hear from a group of recent graduates sharing their inspiration as they begin their careers and their contributions to our shared future. Now, I am so excited and honored to introduce Ms. Leslie Honore to kick off this session with an original poem. Leslie, please take it away by introducing yourself and turning on your camera and microphone.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Leslie Honore, and I'm an internationally renowned Blaxican poet, activist, and author of Fist and Fire, a collection of powerful, unflinching poems that confront issues of social justice through the lens of real human lives and voices, and forthcoming children's book, Brown Girl, in January 2023. As well as Center for Neighborhood Technology's Managing Director of Strategy and Communications. One of my goals as an author and leader is to empower youth to use the arts to channel and uplift their voices as they ask the hard questions and highlight and bridge gaps inequities create. I have over 20 years of experience in the world of community work and have made it a priority to continually infuse my work with youth, the environment, social justice, and the power of art. As Center for Neighborhood Technology's Managing Director of Strategy and Communications, I strive to realize our mission of delivering innovative analysis and solutions that support community-based organizations and local governments to create neighborhoods that are equitable, sustainable, and resilient by engaging all demographics that make up the communities we work with, much like CPECs. CPECs and CNT understand the importance of informed decision-making when it comes to planning successful communities of tomorrow. Both our organizations recognize the power of collaborative, cross-sectorial approaches as we realize the visions of the future. Further, as a woman born into a family from New Orleans and a graduate of Xavier University of Louisiana, that New Orleanian creative blood runs through my veins every day, leading me to know wholeheartedly that there's a world out there where all voices are uplifted and we have the power to shape our communities of tomorrow. Now I'd like to share a poem I've created that illustrates this belief. If we can. If we can, we continue to build. If we can continue to solve, if we can continue to serve, bring our whole selves, our resources, our talents, our hopes. We don't stop when we see the finish line. It is a horizon that doesn't exist. The work doesn't stop. And this work, this battle, this war, these soldiers, these leaders, these communities, homes, families, people, lives, souls need us still, need us linked, thinking, hoping, planning, solving, building the bridges, closing the gaps between hope and reality. If we can, we will cover each other with grace. We will reinvent how we measure, how we define, how we report success, winning, collaboration, for we have been healing while we fight, loving while we fight. This was no sprint. This was an Ironman triathlon, and we carried our communities on our backs, buried our loved ones while we ran, mourned our families while we swam, and cycled through steeps long forgotten, pledging to plant more hope. We fight until we can't fight anymore. Co-create, co-design, invest, because that's what we warriors do. If we can, we will teach each other how to be whole and vulnerable, worthy of trust. If we can, we will teach each other, teach ourselves how to be human again. If we can, we will find a way of working that puts people before bricks, joy as a return on investment. If we can lead. We can build, we can use this pain, this heartbreak, these tears of the past year, the past decade, the past, not as a cliff, but a ramp, propelling us to a better place that we can create together. And I believe we can.
Leslie, your poem was so inspiring and motivating for us to continue to do the work, to bridge the gap between hope and reality, keeping in mind, of course, joy as a return on investment. Thank you so much for being with us today and sharing the talent. We very much appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Now, I am excited to present 3 young professionals who submitted their work to be included alongside the summit's renowned speakers for the first ever session dedicated to young professionals, fresh takes for the future. First, I'd like to introduce Huang Tao, a PhD candidate with all but his dissertation at the University of New Orleans and lead researcher at UNO's Center for Hazards Assessment, Response, and Technology. He will showcase a new tool that presents climate justice and equity data in augmented reality so that residents can make informed decisions. Simbri Majors is a research analyst for CPECs and a recent graduate from Southern University's Master's Program of Urban Forestry and Natural Resources. She will outline her research on the environmental, economic, and quality of life benefits of trees in urban parks. We are so proud to have Simbri, who started as an intern and is now a part of our team here at CPECs. Our organization has a long history of recognizing the importance and benefits of attracting and retaining interns, as we have several senior members of our team who had their start at CPECs as interns. Lastly, but certainly not least, we have Emilia Ruffin, Economic Development Planner at the Capital Region Planning Commission. She is a recent graduate of the University of New Orleans Master's Program of Urban and Regional Planning. Her presentation today will explain the importance of broadband access in Louisiana and current expansion efforts. Now, I ask that you sit back, relax, and enjoy their wonderful presentations to follow.
Sisyphus, our mission, climate justice and equity. New Orleans has always been surrounded by rivers, lakes, and the Gulf. This proximity to water has made our city one of the most flood-prone areas in the world. Our city has had a long history of flooding disaster, with Katrina being the most destructive. Our collective memory of Katrina first showed how climate change amplifies existing injustice. As a resident of New Orleans, I continue to witness these inequitable distribution of flood burdens and mitigation benefits. Climate change has made this worse, with a record-setting 31 storm hitting the Gulf region last year. Doing emergency management during Hurricane Ida demonstrated how the most vulnerable population are still disproportionately affected, with millions of residents were left without communication, power, water, and vital services. My niece was the eureka moment of leveraging all these tech together into our software as a solution, and it is also the motivation to providing a climate mitigation solution for all of our future. If you can teach a 3-year-old to intuitively play extended reality chess during the pandemic lockdown, we can use this innovative communication media to simply present complex data in an understandable manner for residents to make informed decisions. Our solution is an augmented reality web app that AI calculates flood risks and mitigation data structured within a climate justice and equity framework. The Watson Assist chat box is able to answer questions. We use IBM Code Engine as a single runtime platform to optimize our ArcGIS API database. And Watson Studio will train the AI recommendation engine. And augmented reality UX will search and communicate the needed information to help residents make better informed decisions for self-determination. There are 3 environmental UX to better visualize complex data in an understandable manner to our diverse community, professional, and governmental users. The Room UX can show the homeowner the flood level and calculate the risks and damage costs. The table UX can be utilized by professionals to prioritize socially and economically vulnerable areas for mitigation planning and projects. GIS maps overlay can display complex interaction of many different variables at different aggregate levels for climate justice and equity analysis. Government officials can use the World UX to do outreach and education. By allowing residents to geospatially locate the network of flood protection infrastructure and better understand how vulnerable their neighborhoods are and ways to mitigate it. We are developing our pilot to integrate satellite data, IoT early warning system, and AI machine learning into our equity counter web tool that can address the growing humanitarian issue facing indigenous, brown, and black Americans, and then scaling internationally to the most vulnerable population in the global south. Our international team consists of members with both diverse expertise and lived experience, with multiple PhD in relevant fields, Peace Corps servicemen, Fulbright scholars, and climate tech fellows. And importantly, we have members from the most storm flood vulnerable countries on Earth. Thank you to our partners and funders in our
Embry Majors. I'm a recent graduate from Southern University here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. While there, I obtained my master's degree in urban forestry and natural resources. I received my bachelor's in environmental science with a concentration in soil and water conservation from the University of Louisiana at Lafayette. I am passionate about trees and green vegetation, and my goal is to educate as many people as I can on the importance of having and keeping trees around. So when it comes to healthy communities, what comes to your mind? For me, I instantly think of trees and green vegetation, not because I have a degree in urban forestry, but because of all of the benefits they provide to us. Those benefits include reducing urban heat islands, filtering out our air, reducing stormwater runoff, which also reduces flooding. Trees also reduce energy costs for buildings and homes. They act as a noise buffer. Studies show that people who see trees and green vegetation on a regular basis are in better moods and overall healthier people. The list of benefits that trees provide goes on and on and on, and it proves just how important trees and green vegetation are to our lives. With that, I'm going to discuss how iTree Canopy from the iTree Suite can be used to assess the ecological benefits that trees provide to cities, especially zeroing in on urban cities such as Baton Rouge, Louisiana. My research is titled Assessing Tree Canopy Cover and Ecological Benefits of 6 Urban Parks in Baton Rouge, Louisiana using the iTree Canopy model. Urban parks are valuable green spaces for the communities. The aesthetic and recreational values of the parks are widely recognized. However, their ecological values are often overlooked, especially the contributions of the trees in the parks to our daily lives. Therefore, there is an urgent need for the research that quantifies the ecological values of trees in parks. The objectives of this research are to assess the tree canopy cover in the parks, evaluate land use classes, estimate the ecological benefits, and appraise the economic values of trees. iTree Canopy is one of the 7 models in the iTree model suite. It is used to assess the structure, function, and benefits of the urban forest. iTree Canopy allows users to conduct tree canopy cover and land cover inventory. It utilizes assessment tools such as geographic information systems, area photographs, and random sampling statistics. We looked at 6 parks within Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and those parks were Anna T. Jordan Community Park, City Brooks Community Park, Drusilla Lane Park, Kathy Drive Park, Parkview Park, and Perkins Road Community Park. The iTree Canopy model and its associated methodologies were used for the study. The first steps was to create and upload the study area maps. The park boundaries were defined using either Esri shapefile or a Google Earth map. The park study areas were then uploaded to the iTree Canopy model. The tree cover and land cover classes were classified as tree, wetland, grass, water, impervious surfaces, and soil bare ground. The data collected from here was entered into the iCanopy model for analysis. The data analysis achieved results on the tree canopy cover in each park, the amount of pollution trees removed each year, the amount of carbon trees stored, the amount of space available for new tree plantings, the amount of impervious surfaces contributing to stormwater runoff, and the monetary values of the trees. Due to limited time, we're going to focus on our most successful park, that being Anna T. Jordan Community Park because it has 50% of tree coverage, and our least successful park, which is Parkview Park, because it has only 25% of tree coverage. By looking at the graphs, we can see that Anna T. Jordan has proven to be the most successful park out of the 6 park studies versus Parkview Park that has proven to be the least successful park out of 6 park study when it comes to annual carbon sequestration, carbon storage, the comparison of total pollutants removed by the trees in the parks annually, and the comparison of the total avoided costs by the trees in the parks annually. And the total avoided cost is what the city is preventing from spending when having those trees present. Utilizing the iTree Canopy model and its associated protocols, this research assessed and achieved results on tree canopy cover and the ecological benefits the trees provided. This work is important because the research results provide firsthand information of the 6 park study. It can be used to justify the need for the investment in planting, growing, and caring for trees, and for the better management of the parks. This research can also be used to educate the communities on the ecological values and health benefits of the trees and the parks. The research results can lead to innovative management strategies to maintain and improve tree health, as well as give communities and policymakers an insight on the importance of trees in the community. Thank you so much for listening. To try iTree Canopy or any other iTree tools in the iTree model suite, you can go to www.itreetools.org. Also, if you have any questions, you can reach me at smajors@cpex.org, and I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. Thank you.
Hey everyone, my name is Emilia Ruffin, and I'm an economic development planner at the Capital Region Planning Commission in my hometown of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I graduated from the UNO Master of Urban and Regional Planning program in the spring of 2020. Today, I'll discuss expanding broadband access across the Capital Region and Louisiana as a whole. My life's desire is to contribute to a much more equitable society, and broadband's utility is necessary for a high quality of life. What is broadband? Internet access is classified as broadband at the download speed of 25 megabytes per second and the upload speed of 3 megabytes per second. It is often written as 25/3 for shorthand. A broadband network has a first, middle, and last mile. The first mile is often fiber optic cable. Middle mile connections reach anchor institutions like government buildings. Last mile connections may link to businesses, residences, and local schools. The last mile is based on population density, topography, and existing infrastructure. COVID-19 has highlighted the importance of the internet. Market demand and consumer expectations for greater improved access, speeds, and capacity also continue to rise. These all contribute to projections of growing future demand and need. So, why is broadband important? CRPC views broadband expansion as central to all goals in our comprehensive economic development strategy, also known as SEDS. This includes prioritizing infrastructure, enhancing regional collaboration, supporting economic resilience, leveraging investments, enhancing education and workforce development opportunities, and continuing to support the development of strong regional business and industrial clusters. Now I'd like to share a few milestones to highlight the momentum in this area of work. Governor Edwards' Broadband for Everyone in Louisiana Commission. The Bell Commission will facilitate private sector providers, public entities, and other stakeholders to improve the adoption and availability of broadband service by providing universal access with a minimum committed speed of 25/3 megabytes per second for all Louisianans by 2029. The Louisiana Association of Planning and Development Districts. CRPC is working with its 7-peer LAPDD development districts to improve digital literacy in all 64 parishes through webinars, local meetings, and quarterly campaigns. This programming is supported by statewide EDA economic impact funding. The Delta Regional Authority's Delta Broadband Mapping Project. Currently, FCC data measures broadband access using self-reports from service providers at the census block level. Many agencies agree that successful broadband expansion requires higher accuracy and specificity. This grassroots speed test will provide the most helpful household broadband information to date. The Office of Broadband Development and Connectivity. This office is authorized to administer granting unserved municipalities broadband opportunities, or GUMBO, grant to assist private provider broadband expansion. Their Connect LA Toolkit is a step-by-step guide designed to prepare your community for broadband adoption. There are concerns at every level of broadband accessibility. Having more interested internet service providers and more affordable internet subscription options would lessen the toughest barriers on a local level. Digital literacy training for residents would help troubleshoot unique connectivity impediments. Broadband strategic plans must consider equity, sustainability, and longevity to keep us all informed, healthy, and financially competitive. The Plank Road Corridor is a disinvested throughway anticipating better broadband accessibility. Build Baton Rouge is using the Imagine Plank Road Project Small Area Plan to make Plank Road a hub for free internet access through 5G towers and broadband infrastructure. Build Baton Rouge, the Baton Rouge Planning Commission, CPEX, and CRPC partnered with ULI Louisiana to create recommendations for this effort. I was lucky enough to contribute to the recommendations, and I am so excited to see how the residents and businesses along Plank will benefit. So how can you help or be helped? The DRA Delta Broadband Mapping hashtag Delta Speed Test data will support funding opportunities for our communities. If or when you are home, you may scan the code above or visit dra.gov/speedtest to take the anonymous 30-second test. It is very important that we capture your broadband accessibility in the places you use internet as a Louisiana citizen, such as your home address. Feel free to email me for PDFs of the speed test flyer to share publicly. Next, the Emergency Broadband Benefit Discount is an FCC program that provides a temporary stipend to qualifying low-income households for monthly broadband bills. If you or someone you know needs assistance with the cost of internet, please visit getemergencybroadband.org. Interested Gumbo grant applicants should use gumbo.la.gov and the Connect LA Toolkit to submit their applications by December 31st, 2021. Feel free to contact me. Thank you for your time and attention.
What great presentations. I hope you enjoyed them as much as I did. And I'm comforted and glad to see that the future of the profession is in such good and passionate hands. I'd like to again thank Huang, Simbri, and Mir for sharing their important findings with our Smart Growth Summit audience. And to all the young professionals putting in the effort and intention to shape our future for the better as we plan for more inclusive and livable communities and work toward more informed decision-making and planning. From all of us here at CPEX, thank you. We can't wait to see what you accomplish in the future. Now we have a brief poll to conduct, which is required if you are seeking continuing education credit. And we have the question up on the screen. As we work to create the communities of the future, what is the most important consideration? Our options are A, resilience, B, health, C, equity, D, climate, or E, all of the above. We'll allow a moment for people to respond, and our behind the scenes team will share the results when most people have responded. If you are a certified floodplain manager, please fill out the survey that will appear when you close the Zoom window so that we can help you get continuing education credit. I think we're still waiting on seeing the results. Okay, so I think it's a resounding all of the above. Thank you everyone for filling out the poll. So please, everyone, don't forget to attend the next and final session of CPEX's virtual Smart Growth Summit today, happening from 2 to 4 p.m. Central Time. This session, Changing Climate, Changing Landscape, and Evolving Thought, Flood Mitigation in a Changing World, will touch on the Baton Rouge area's most pressing issue, stormwater management and flood risk mitigation. Leaders from Houston, New Orleans, and Chicago will share their experiences of policy change, best practice solutions as it pertains to green and gray infrastructure, and smaller scale practices that can tackle the issue of our region. This conversation will be moderated by CPEX's very own Dr. Justin Kozak. You will not want to miss what these experts have to say. The Smart Growth Summit is made possible by our summit sponsors and CPEX members. All contributions help keep the summit accessible to all. If you would like to help support CPEX and the summit, text CPEX to the number on your screen or scan the QR code. Again, we hope to see you again shortly at 2 p.m. Central, and thank you for joining us today.